But you'll see what works for the group, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, what works for the group. And Isabella. All right, let's start by coming into a butterfly. So you want to have your feet 2 hands length away from your groin. First thing to do is lift up tall. And just, while we're at it, let's just smile nice and big first. And then bring your chin to your chest and gently start to roll down, just starting to stop when you feel resistance. So let your head hang. Perfect. Take a full breath in, and with your exhale, actually allow it to sound out through your mouth. And just take a couple of breaths and notice maybe the room you're in, the smells. Notice if anything weird happened to your feet overnight. But just take a couple of breaths and just notice the environment you're in. You can maybe even hear the wind howling outside the windows. And then just take a couple breaths and notice and check in with yourselves. Your body as the holy investment bank. And then really notice your physical body, the material of your body. You can think of this as the mineral world of your body. So everything in our world that's really solid, in our body, that's we can touch and see. And have useful resistance with. It's all thanks to the newest kingdom, the mineral kingdom. Then gently roll up. You're going to keep your feet like this, and you're coming back onto your elbows. And you're going to drop your head back. If that irritates your neck, you can let your chin stay close to your chest. But if it's okay for your neck, you want to let your head hang. It's a very open pose. And as part of your subtle practice, even within the yin poses, you can engage your Mula Bandha here. checking in with your energy body. So the Mula Bandha is really interesting because it's kind of, it's this lower lock. So it's a lifting up of your perineum. And it's an energetic, you could even think of it as a gate instead of a lock. And so the idea is that when you engage it, efforting as little as it takes to gently close the petals of a flower, that it energetically helps the anagi, the fire in our torso, stay in our torso, stay with our internal organs here, instead of just leaking down to the ground. And it's really this energetic body of us, this body that we share with plants, that gifts us our vitality in our body, our living quality. Allow your upper body to come down to the ground, keeping your feet as they are. And you're going to bring your hands into a mudra. So you're going to bring your hands so that it goes right to where your head touches the ground. So you have your index fingers, your thumbs touching, and the other 3 fingers stretching apart. Exact. Ah, this is good. Det var bra. So liksom krona. So you can imagine them like horns or antlers. That's kind of like a little bit more romantic. Or a tiara. And again, this is an energetic position. So you're not doing it to exercise your fingers. You're actually doing it to direct energy in your body. You notice already in this life force part of your body, this part that we share with plants, it's more sensitive than your physical body. So maybe you've seen these experiments with plants. The latest one I saw was these 2 plants in a hallway at a school, and one plant they told really nice things to, said nice things. And the other plant, they yelled at the plant and bullied the plant. And the plant that they were talking trash to suffered and was smaller and raggedy. And the plant, and they both obviously were getting the same amount of water and light. So in us, we already have this sensitivity. Starting in our life body, our energetic body. I like to think of my body as actually like a little slice of earth. I mean, I know that's cuter to say, like, yeah, it's a little slice of heaven. But it's like I have all the elements of the earth in my physical body. So hug your knees up to your chest. Maybe lift up your face and kiss your knees good morning. Maybe. And see if you can rock and roll, and you might even rock and roll, jump back and come into Sphinx. Ta-da! Jump for my love. Jump in. Nice. And yeah, a good mantra to remember in a lot of things you do, but especially your yoga. Obedience is for dogs. This is all optional. So you want to have your elbows just slightly in front of your shoulders, stretching your legs out behind you, taking them wide. And so we've checked in with the rock, mineral, gem part of our body, and with the plant part of our body. Intuitively, we already know the animal part of our body. So our feelings and emotions. And it's beautiful because, as we move into the more subtle areas of our body, in our life force, we can feel the division of part of it that you're able to conduct and magnify, but part of it that actually comes in with you. So how we breathe, the energy we get from our breath, what we eat, the energy we get from food. And then again, in the emotion part, there's emotions that we are very awake to, even seek, or definitely take in hand and use or direct. And then there's also reactions and feelings that seem to happen to us. So when I say we share this emotional kind of world with the animals, it's this world of archetypes. So we can understand kind of the distance of the eagle. How when we fly so high, we have the perspective to put everything in context. Or we can understand that sometimes we get so persnickety and we get very concentrated and notice the minutia, the little things. And we're really following our nose around like a little mouse. So we can start to feel those connections. In kind of this occult perspective, Rudolf Steiner talks about how our heart was made with the same force that was used to create the lion. And you in yourself might notice you have more of a connection to some animals than other animals. And then you want to check in with that part of us that's so uniquely human. And it's not our intelligence body, it's really our thinking body. So this includes, for human beings, memory. So if you look at intelligence, you have lots of animals that are very intelligent. That compete with some of our friends or whatever, They're, a crow can solve complex problems to get food. But this element of reflection and memory is so key to the human being. Because we have in our ability to think one of the most magnificent tools, that we can even have insight into events that are gone in our past. We can have insights in this present moment that change our relationship to it. And with your inhale, gently lower yourself down to the ground. Wiggle your hips side to side. Moan and groan a little bit. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Push your hips back to your heels. And come into child's pose. And then take your hands into prayer. Yep, flat-handed, like an Egyptian prayer. And bring your thumbs to the back of your neck. And take a couple moments honoring this most subtle part of our being, our spirit, set your intention for the next 50 minutes, for the whole day, or it's an intention maybe, it's one of your life intentions that you keep coming back to and setting again and again. But for a liberated, fully expressed life, our participation is key. And then for the last couple breaths, feel free to stretch your arms long or take them back behind you. This posture of child's pose is always there for you. It's got some similarities to being able to take a nap nearly, where you come inward and in the darkness you find that you have a home in yourself. And then come forward onto your hands and knees to get some cat-cow going. So with your inhale, lift up your head, your heart, and your hips. Imagine you're a cow. And then with your exhale, push the ground away and imagine you're a cat. Pull your belly up. Imagine what your tail would be doing if you had one. Inhale, open up your head, your heart, and your hips. Imagining what it's like to be able to smell better if you had horns. And then exhale, push the ground away. Pull your belly up. Maybe even imagining all the hairs on your back standing up. And then inhale. Take it to cow. Feel like you're trying to bring your shoulders and your hips together. It doesn't quite work, but the gesture gets there. And then exhale. Push the air out. Feel your Uddiyana Bandha lift it up. Engage your Mula Bandha like you're squeezing out the last drops of air. And then come to a neutral spine. And try to touch your right shoulder to your right hip. And then the other side. I could nearly throw in some face yoga here. Just a little wiggle. Beautiful. And then making sure that your knees are directly underneath your hips and your hands are directly underneath your shoulders. With your inhale, stretch your right arm forward and match it and balance it by stretching your left leg back. Now just for a moment, wiggle around in your hip socket and then turn so your pinky toe, the small toe, is pointing down at the ground and flexing your foot. Reach your heel on your left foot and your fingertips in your right hand far away from each other and feel naturally as you make more distance between your ribs and your hips, your Uddiyana Bandha engages. Take a full inhale as you get longer. With your exhale, bring your knee and your elbow together. Lift up, pull up. Inhale, stretch long. Exhale, pull it in. Nice and tight. One more time. Inhale, stretch long. Exhale, pull it in. And then inhale, stretch long. And you're going to spin your left foot behind your right toes. Bring the heel down to the ground. Place your right hand underneath your shoulder and then open up, coming into supported side plank. Feeling your left hip stack on top of your right. Bhuta Bain. Danha. And then with your exhale, come down, all fours, tabletop. Inhale. Up into cow, moo. Exhale into cat and pull your belly in. Inhale, moo. Exhale, meow. And then come to a neutral spine again. Now, our abdominals are the key to making our upper body and our lower body work together. So pull up your belly and then stretch your left arm out. Reach your right leg back, wiggle around, twist your leg in the hip socket, just feel the difference. And then flex your foot, pinky side of your foot reaching down, pull your belly up. Feel the relationship of your left fingertips, to the bottom of your right foot. And then with your exhale, bring your elbow, knee together, lift your belly up. Inhale, stretch long. Exhale, pull it in tight. Inhale, long, and gong tail. And then inhale long and spin your right foot lined up behind your left toes. Your left hand comes directly underneath your shoulder. Reach up. And then exhale, come back to all fours. Inhale up into cow. Feel your front body opening. And exhale, tuck your toes under and lift your butt and come into downward facing dog. And then lift your hips up and back, maybe a couple wiggles. Take a full breath in, empty your breath out with a sigh. And walk your feet up in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, bend your knees as much as you need to. Exhale, release, and bow down. And then push down with your feet. Imagine you have roots and grow up, roll up, stretch up. Now feel, when you look up to the ceiling, feel that when you push down with your feet, you have more freedom and lift up towards the sky. Maybe a hint of a smile. And then with your exhale, bring your hands to heart center. And then feel that you're looking straight out at the world. And then you're going to close your eyes. And we're going to sound 3 ohms. So you want to feel the vibrations in the back of your throat. And eventually you can hear other people's vibrations in the back of your throat too, for a weird sensation. Empty your breath. Take a deep inhale. Let your arms relax down. Find the lift in the front of your body. Let your shoulders lift up and pull them back and drop them behind you. Feel the effort of lifting your heart and opening your heart. Inhale, stretch your arms up high. Exhale, bow down. Let your head drop. Inhale, halfway lift, pull your belly to your spine, and then step back to plank. Shift your weight to your tippy toes, so you shift your whole body forward, and then drop your chest, chin, and knees, looking oddly strange forward. Then inhale, low cobra. Your legs are on the ground, but active, pushing your toes to the ground. Exhale, downward facing dog. That's right. So now try this out. Bend your knees a little bit and bend your elbows, squeezing the bony part of your elbows towards one another. Yeah, bend them again, Christiana. Yes. Now this is turbo dog. So if you ever get bored in a class, you can do this every time they go to downward facing dog. Do you feel how that's maybe a little bit more intense? We want to start to learn what it takes in us to adapt ourselves to be satisfied with whatever level is being offered to us in the yoga class. Now stretch your arms out, stretch your legs out, feel your heels dropping to the ground. Always efforting to pull your hips up and back. Take a full breath in. Empty your breath all the way. Look in between your hands or further forward and walk your feet forward as you inhale. Lift up, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, release, and bow down. Let your head drop. Push down with your feet. Roll up to the sky. Stretch up tall. A little baby back bend. And then exhale, Samastitihi. And just drop your hands or your pants at the end of the exhale. Inhale, reach your arms up high. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Step back to plank. This time, shift forward and try chaturanga. Just coming down halfway. Look straight forward. Yeah, baby. And then inhale, upward facing dog. Your thighs never even touch the ground. And exhale, downward facing dog. So if your legs are too heavy to lift up in upward facing dog, just means that you're still developing strength there. So let your legs be on the ground and do baby cobra, because this will make you use your back more. And we're after strengthening our body, not achieving some weird pretzel shape. So we want to move slowly in our progress. You know, even if you get like a growth spurt when you're young that's too big, you get stretch marks. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way. That sounds a little vain. Look forward, and as you inhale, hop or walk your feet forward and lift up to halfway lift. Exhale, release, and bow down. Let your head drop. Push down with your feet. Roll up to the sky. Stretch up taller than before. A little back bend. And exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, reach up high. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float, this time chaturanga or ashtanga namaskar. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, chaturanga to downward facing dog. That's another little trick you can do. So that will really kick up your fire. So you want to be able to temper your practice to fit your needs of today. Breathing through your nose, engaging the Ujjayi breath, the like victorious breath, or maybe the hero's breath. Pull your hips up and back. Empty your breath all the way. Look forward in between your hands and float your feet in between your hands and lift up, halfway lift. Exhale, release, and bow down. Push down with your feet, roll up to the sky, stretch up tall. Exhale, Samastitihi. Drop your hips low, inhale, Utkatasana. Now let's take a couple breaths here. So step your feet together. You want your big toes touching and just a couple, like a centimeter between your heels. Now get sloppy with your arms and just keep them up, but just get lazy with them. Do you feel how this is so much more hard work? Like, let your arms do their own work and lift themselves. And it actually becomes a lighter thing. Find that your hips can sink down a little bit further. Feel the lift of your heart, the sexy curves of your body, in front of your ankle, behind your knee. Take another full inhale, and then exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway lift, and then jump to chaturanga or step to plank and lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. And exhale, bring your knee to your nose and then deliberately place your foot next to your thumb. Plant your left heel, rise up, warrior one breath, and then exhale, chaturanga, all the way down. Inhale, upward facing dog, like someone's pulling your heart up towards the heavens. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg long. Bring your knee to your nose. Feel the control, and then place your foot next to your thumb, heel to toe. Rise up, warrior one. Back heel's planted. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale. Try to look forward with your chaturanga. Exhale, DFD. Downward facing dog. Feel your fingers spread out. And as you land in downward facing dog again, it's a little bit like coming home. Just check the thing you often forget to do. Like, is there a light that you always forget to turn off? Or Notice if your heat is rising. So engaging your Ujjayi breath, it means engaging your Mula Bandha, pulling in your Uddiyana Bandha, and breathing with a slightly closed throat as if you're whispering loudly. Take another full inhale. Empty your breath all the way, look forward, and hop your feet in between your hands, lifting up halfway lift at the end of the inhale. Exhale, release and bow down, let your head drop. Bend your knees, drop your butt. Inhale, Utkatasana. And let's breathe here. So a little bit of a fire pose. Step your feet together. You want to start to feel in your practice that the more you're able to refine the alignment, the more the mineral quality of your body helps the life force quality of your body. Yeah? So the way that your bones are lined up, make it easier for you. Stretch your arms out. Yay! And then exhale, Samastitihi. Ooh, yeah. And then inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Then walk or float, jump to chaturanga or step to plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. It takes a couple times. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. With your exhale, take your right knee to your left elbow. Inhale, stretch your right leg long. Exhale, bring your knee forward to your chest, and then place your foot next to your thumb. Plant your left heel. Rise up, warrior one. And then open up with your exhale, warrior two. Inhale here, and then exhale, chaturanga, even if you're scared of slapping your teacher there. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Nice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your left leg to the ceiling. Exhale, bring your left knee to touch your right elbow. Inhale, reach it high. Exhale, bring your knee forward, belly lifts up. Place your foot next to your thumb. Plant your right heel, rise up, warrior one. And then open up for warrior two, your gaze going over your middle finger. And then exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then tiptoe both of your feet about a third of the way closer to your hands. And shift your weight to your hands and start to see if you can just lift up to your big toes. Very nice, Isabel. Mm-hmm. Look in between your hands. And then jump your feet in between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release and bow down. Bend your knees, drop your hips. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Walk or float. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, stretch your right leg to the sky. With your exhale, take your right knee to your right elbow. Enjoy a push-up. Inhale, stretch your right leg long. Exhale, touch your left elbow with your right knee. Inhale, stretch your right leg long. Exhale, bring your knee forward and place your foot next to your thumb. Rise up. Warrior one. Open up for warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior, and then straighten your right leg, and with your exhale, triangle pose, Trikonasana. Let's take some breaths here. So you want to feel that you're tucking your right buttocks towards your left heel. You want to feel that you actually can maybe even put your right hand in front of your leg. That makes you work your abdominals more, theoretically. Feel that when you tuck your right buttocks towards your left heel, you can pull your shoulders back. Now inhale here, imagining you have a big beach ball lifted up to the sky. Turn both sets of toes in. With your exhale, take your hands behind you. Pull your knuckles down to the ground, lift up your heart, and with your next exhale, bow forward. See if your fingers can come down to knock on the floor. I once was teaching in a Bikram class, and there were 3 brothers basically doing this pose right in a row. And the youngest brother, literally, it wasn't just the story, he rolled and fell forward, and he knocked both of his brothers off. It's a beautiful moment. Release your hands. And now, Elvira, you're going to try this with me. Toe heel your feet as far apart as you can, keeping your pinky toes on the ground. So keep lite tårna på golvet. Titta. Ja. Allow yourself to breathe. Yeah. Keep your pinky toe on the ground. And then toe heel your feet just enough that you can get a grip. Stay low. Maybe you throw in a running person without kicking your neighbor. And exhale, chaturanga. Nice. And lizard move there. Upward facing dog or low cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a full breath in, and with your exhale, see if you can inspire your friends here. Inhale, stretch your left leg up to the sky. Exhale, take your left knee to your left elbow, enjoy a push-up. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, touch your right elbow with your knee. Inhale, stretch your leg long. Exhale, step your left foot to your left thumb. Rise up, planting your right heel down, warrior 1. Open up, warrior 2. Bend your left knee. Inhale, reverse your warrior. And with your exhale, triangle pose. Nice. Feel that you're working to tuck your left buttocks towards your right heel. Nice. Fint. I can hear you breathing. That's beautiful. And then imagine you have a big beach ball, and you're going to lift up the beach ball. Nice. And then this time take your hands to your hips, little power pose. Spin your toes in, lift up your heart, and float down, bringing your hands down in between your feet. If you slide your hands back to your feet, line up with your feet. If you want to play a little bit with tripod headstand, you can bring your head onto the ground, and if you can see your fingertips, you can lift up your legs. And then, hey. You can also practice a wide straddle headstand. Are you breathing, Christiana? It looks great. Try the splits.
Wow.
Nice. Learning how to play with the floor, huh? Nice use of the wall, Mila. And then come down out of headstand. Walk your hands a little bit underneath your shoulders. And this time we're doing the opposite. I want you to push with the bottoms of your feet out to the side. See? Push with the bottoms. Yes, keeping your feet flexed. Thinking good thoughts. Like, I'm nearly there. I'm nearly home. Flex your feet. Imagine doing this between 2 countertops. It's been done. And then heel your feet together if your hips still work. Stay low. And if you'd like to, just throw in a running man. And then exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Feel how good it feels. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then tiptoe your feet towards your face. And stretch up one of your legs, so you're halfway there. Sorry, that wasn't very clear on my part. And shift your weight to your hands, lift up to your tippy toes, and maybe lift up into handstand. Or just get a little bit of air. You want to land as quietly as a big panther. So bend your knees. And then switch whichever leg you're using to push off. Woo-hoo! You want to imagine your hips coming over your shoulders. And going one more time. See how far away you were? Did you feel that?
Yeah.
Breathe into it. And then fold at your hips to pike down. Beautiful. And then walk your feet in between your hands. How did that feel? It's fun, huh? Separate your feet hip distance apart. Lift up your toes. Slide your hands underneath your feet. Especially when we're newer to the practice. Inhale, halfway lift as much, bend your knees as much as you need to, and then release and bow down. Especially if we're newer to the practice, this pose is a really great wrist releasing pose. Oh, it's cool. Just, got your back. And then step off your hands, toe heel your feet together, roll up to the ceiling. And we're going to do a 1 minute, you can do the final stretch. It feels much nicer when you do it that way, I think. And we're going to do about 1 minute to do whatever you want. So if you're not doing your cycle, feel free to just go to the wall and do a couple handstands. So we're just doing 1 minute. You might find that you really need to do child's pose, or you can already come onto your back and do a passive back bend. And if you're not sure what to do, the rules are you can copy anybody. You can make up something. You can do any pose that we've done already today. But just taking a couple minutes, or in this case, a minute, in your practice to notice what you're craving or what you keep thinking about or what you really are trying to avoid. That's also usually a posture to do. Look at your fingers, pair. Breathe into it. Nice. So if you're a woman, during your mens, you might find that you don't want to do inversions. So there's lots of different teachers. There's so many different types of yoga. And you're going to be really free in deciding how this works for you. But try it out. For myself, I found that first couple of days of my period, I don't even like to practice. I can't get the muscles to work in my belly. I don't want to. But other people are different. And sometimes other cycles are different. But towards the end of my cycle, I practice, I just don't do inversions. Nice correction there. So, because when I do, I'll get cramps about 1 hour after I've done a headstand. I'll get cramps. Pull your ribs in a little bit. Stretch, get active with your legs, Isabella. And you're twisting your hips ever so slightly. Good correction. And then find your way. Come on down. And just take a counter pose. So if you've done headstand, you can come into child's pose. If you've done handstand or forearm balance, if you've done handstand, you do a forward bend. Nice. And then find your way back into the middle of the room, onto your yoga mat, and come onto your back. We're going to do some simple back bends just to round out our practice. And with a lot of these things, like there's so many different styles of yoga. There's so many different teachers that you will have to figure out what works for you. Too dark? I think it's okay. Now bend your knees and slide your feet towards your feet towards your butt. Reach down the length of your body. Feel that you can feel the backs of both of your feet. And inhale, lift up your hips. And then exhale, roll down one vertebra at a time, letting your sacrum be the last to touch. And then inhale, lift up your hips one more time. And then exhale, just one more time, roll down before we hold it. Inhale, lift up your hips. And now shimmy your arms underneath, hold hands with yourself. So our body seems to be a little slice of earth. But literally, on the inside of our body, we have a little slice of the cosmos. So we could kind of say like we're like the universe, but like turned inside out. Or is it right side in? And then slowly release your hands and roll down one vertebrae at a time. Allow your feet to slide out to the width of the mat and let your knees drop together. Take a full breath in, and with your exhale, just sigh out. And then separate your knees, bring your feet back in so they're hip distance apart. Push down with your feet and roll up with your hips. So in some of these postures, it's really easy just to get to the spot where it looks like you're doing the pose and kind of stop there and space out. Instead, go deeper. So feel that you can maybe keep efforting to bring your chest towards your face and your knees away from your face. Rotating your inner thighs down to the ground as you tuck your tail up to the sky. And then engage your root lock. So eventually, you can work on engaging your root lock, the Mula Bandha, all day long. To be able to conduct your energy, your life force in an even more focused way. So eventually you can engage your root lock and then relax your butt cheeks. And what's cool about this posture is you can kind of check. Probably rock hard. And then slowly roll down one vertebrae at a time. I mean, they're a good muscle set. We want to use them. Take a full breath in. You can let your knees fall together if you want. Your feet slide out. Sigh out your breath. And then last back bend of this class. Bring your feet back in. Separate your knees. Inhale, lift up. Now, you can come up to bridge, or if you want more spiciness, go into wheel. And just FYI, you could have done wheel all 3 times if you wanted to. So when you're in a yoga class, sometimes it's really important to practice respectful disobedience. So maybe going further in a posture than you're being prompted to, or less than you're being prompted to. Imagine you are Isis, goddess of the heavens. Push up. Squeeze your elbows together. Nice. See if you can bring your heels down. Kiss. And then slowly come down. Stretch your legs long. Take one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Stretch your legs long on the ground, unless your lower back's hurting. Maybe notice your heartbeat. And then hug your knees up to your chest. Lift up your face and kiss your knees. Thank you for getting you this far into it. And then open up your arms and very slowly let your knees drop to the left. If that's too gentle of a twist for you, you can always extend your left leg. Take a full breath in. With your exhale, sigh out. And while we do these twists, let's listen to the prayer, the Mohawk prayer of the great family. Gratitude to Mother Earth, sailing through night and day, and her rich soil, rich, rare, and sweet. In our minds, so be it. Gratitude to plants, the sun-facing, light-changing leaf and fine root hairs, standing still through wind and rain, their dances in the flowering spiral grain. In our minds, so be it. Gratitude to air, bearing the soaring swift and silent owl at dawn. Breathe our song, clear spirit breeze. In our mind, so be it. Come back to center and switch sides. Slowly dropping your knees to the right. Your gaze goes to the left. Gratitude to wild beings, our brothers, teaching secrets, freedoms, and ways, who share with us their milk, self-complete, brave and aware. In our minds, so be it. Gratitude to water, clouds, lakes, rivers, glaciers, holding and releasing, streaming through all our bodies' salty seas. In our minds, so be it. Gratitude to the sun, blinding, pulsing, light through trunks of trees, through mists, warming caves where bears and snakes sleep. He who wakes us. In our minds, so be it. Gratitude to the great sky and the stars. Gratitude to the great sky, who holds billions of stars and goes yet beyond that, beyond all powers and thoughts, and yet is within us. Grandfather space. The mind is his wife. So be it. And then find your way back to center, stretching your legs long, covering yourself if you've got something for Shavasana. Palms open to receive, eyes closed and trusting. Allow gravity to tug at you and hold you, actually. With your next inhale, invite your breath back to the edges of your body. Wiggle your fingers and your toes and your whole little universe. And then roll over onto your right hand side, hugging your knees to your chest. Feel the life in you, the vitality. And then help yourself up into a comfortable seated position. Allow your hands to meet at heart center. Feel the ground below you lift up tall above it. Let's close with an Om. Empty your breath. Take a deep inhale. Bring your prayer hands to your third eye. Invite the divine light. And as we bow forward, together we say, Namaste. And a little bit of noise. Woo! Ow! So go out there and be awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.